I never thought my daughter's college graduation would end like this. The University of Madison's ceremony was picture perfect. Clear skies, beaming families, and the electric buzz of achievement. My daughter, Sophie, had poured her heart into her marketing degree, and I was bursting with pride. But what should have been our family's proudest day twisted into something else entirely. I'm Rachel Carter, 52, and after 27 years of marriage, I thought I knew my husband, David. We'd built a good life in Madison, raised Sophie, and I believed we were solid. I ran a wealth management firm while David led his own tech consultancy. We weren't rich, but we'd saved smartly for retirement and Sophie's future. That afternoon, as we posed for photos post-ceremony, David was off, fidgeting, checking his phone, eyes darting. His assistant Emily was there, supposedly to help with the celebration dinner, but her presence felt wrong. She was young, maybe 28, and had worked for David for 18 months. When David stood to give a champagne toast, I braced for a heartfelt nod to Sophie's success. Instead, he announced he was leaving me for Emily, had drained our savings for their new life, and thought he'd walk away, unscathed. He didn't know I'd seen it coming, or that I'd spent months building a trap to catch him. As he raised his glass, smug, I reached for the folder in my bag, ready to turn his betrayal into his undoing. The ceremony had been flawless. Sophie, in her cap and gown, glowed as she crossed the stage. I clapped until my hands stung. David, beside me, smiling for the cameras. But his distraction grew obvious, snapping at a waiter, glancing at Emily, who hovered too close. I'd sensed something months ago when I spotted odd charges on our joint accounts. Luxury hotels, dinners I hadn't attended. As a wealth manager, I'm wired to notice patterns, and these scream trouble. David's excuses, client meetings, late nights, didn't add up. The Marquette Hotel, a block from his office, appeared weekly. Always the same suite. Always Thursdays. I didn't confront him. Instead, I went to work, tracking every transaction, every receipt, every move. By March, I had a paper trail. $8,000 in jewelry I'd never seen, first-class tickets to Barbados, and transfers to a Barbados account David thought I'd never find. He'd forgotten I'd managed our finances for 2 decades. I knew every account, every dollar. The clincher came from my friend Karen, HR at David's firm. "Rachel," she'd said, voice low. "Emily's transferring to David's new Barbados office." That's when I knew. David wasn't just cheating. He was plotting to vanish. I didn't flinch during his toast. "I'm in love with Emily," he declared, her hand on his arm, her smile smug. "We're starting over in Barbados. I've moved our savings to secure our future." Sophie's face crumpled, her cap tilting. Guests froze, glasses mid-air. Emily waved a ticket, gloating. "We leave tonight. Beachfront condos already ours, thanks to your funds." The room buzzed, with shock, but I felt calm, almost cold. 3 months ago, I'd hired my lawyer, Linda, and we'd prepped for this. I'd frozen our accounts, filed for divorce, and gathered proof of David's fraud. Now, as he smirked, expecting me to collapse, I stood, folder in hand. "Congratulations, David," I said, voice steady. "But before you jet off, you might want to see this." His grin faltered. Emily's eyes narrowed. I slid the folder across the table, my own toast to his downfall. David's announcement landed like a grenade. Sophie gripped my hand, her graduation gown rustling. Our friends whispered, some slipping away, others glued to the drama. David's brother, Mark, glared at him, while Mark's wife, Lisa, mouthed, "You okay?" I nodded, focusing on David's smug face. "I've left you enough for a few months," he said, dripping pity. "Fair, don't you think?" "Fair?" I said, stepping forward. "Let's talk fair. Fair like me building your consultancy while you chased her clients? Or fair like me spotting your Barbados plan months ago?" Emily's grip on his arm tightened. "What's she talking about?" she snapped. I opened the folder, pulling out the divorce petition. "You're not the only one with plans, David. Page 2's my favorite." He flipped to it, face paling. Bank statements showed our joint accounts at zero. My savings safely moved weeks ago. "You can't," he stammered. "Oh, I did," I said, sipping champagne. "Legally, those transfers to Barbados? The IRS loves them. Tax fraud's a bad look." David and I met at a Madison financial conference 28 years ago. He was sharp, driven, with a laugh that warmed a room. We married fast, built a life, had Sophie. I took a job at Pinnacle Wealth, climbing to partner, while David launched his tech firm. He'd beam when I landed big clients, but I'd catch his jaw clench when my name outshone his. We weren't perfect. Long hours, tense fights. But we worked through it, or so I thought. Emily joined his firm, and David's praise, "She's so efficient," felt off. Then came the late nights, the conferences, the locked phone. I'd handled enough divorce cases to know the signs, but I didn't want to believe it. Not until the numbers told the truth. Sophie stood now, voice shaking. "Dad, you did this today? My graduation?" David avoided her eyes, flipping through the folder, hotel receipts, emails planning his announcement, proof of Emily's Barbados transfer. His hands shook as he hit the asset freeze order. "Everything's locked," I said. "Your accounts, your business, that cute Barbados fund. My lawyer's good." Emily's bravado cracked. "Babe, what's she mean? Locked?" "It means," I said, "your dream house is on hold. Hope you packed light." Karen stifled a grin. Mark shook his head, muttering, "Unbelievable." David tried rallying. "This is absurd. I built that firm." "And tanked it," I said. "Your board's investigating you. Ethics violations, misuse of funds. Ring a bell?" His face fell. The folder's last page was a board letter, citing his affair and potential lawsuits. "You went to them?" he whispered. "Didn't need to," I said. "Your discretion was loud. They've been watching you." I'd started digging, after the first Marquette charge. By February, I had a dossier. $15,000 in dinners, $6,000 in jewelry, $20,000 siphon to Barbados. Linda and I moved fast, securing my assets, flagging David's fraud. Karen's tip about Emily's transfer. Sealed it. David had picked Sophie's graduation for his exit, thinking I'd stay quiet in public. He didn't know I'd been ready to strike. "You thought I'd miss this?" I said, pointing to the folder. "The Marquette suite every Thursday? The Tiffany's receipts? Or Emily's HR file?" Emily stepped back, pale. "My job. What's happening to my job?" "Termination," I said. "Sleeping with the boss breaks rules. Good luck in Madison." Sophie's voice cut through. "You used our lake house, didn't you? Grandma's place?" David's silence confirmed it. Mark exploded. "You used Mom's cabin for this? I'm telling her tonight." David tried one last play. "Rachel, let's be reasonable. We can split things evenly. Keep it quiet." I laughed. "Split what? The money you hid? The firm firing you? Or the house? Oh, wait, that's in my name." His eyes widened. "What?" Last month's refinance, I said. You signed the papers without reading. It's mine. Emily's voice rose. The Barbados condo. Our deposit. Frozen, I said. Fraudulent funds don't buy dreams. David's face twisted. You're vicious. Sophie stepped forward. No, Dad. You are. Leave. The room went silent. Guests stared as David's world collapsed. His daughter's disgust. His brother's scorn. Emily's panic. I handed him the folder. Settlements with Linda Monday. Sign or the judge sees everything. Your call. As David and Emily slunk out, I turned to the crowd. Sorry for the drama. Let's celebrate Sophie's day. Karen hugged me. Masterful, Rachel. Sophie squeezed my arm. Mom, you planned this for months? Patience, I said, winking. Learned it balancing your dad's books. Mark raised a glass. To Sophie's degree and Rachel's justice. Laughter broke the tension, and we moved to the restaurant. My choice, not David's. Sophie whispered, Best graduation ever. I felt free, the weight of David's lies gone. 2 weeks later, Linda's office was calm. David signed the settlement, broken. His firm's probe uncovered more. 4 assistants with stories of his charm. He was fired, his reputation trashed. Emily fled to her parents in Milwaukee, her Barbados fantasy dead. Assets secure, fraud reported, Linda said. Cleanest divorce I've seen. Sophie and I dined that night. Mom, your strategy was unreal. Consult for my firm? I grinned. Only if you read the fine print. She laughed, and I felt whole. David's betrayal had tested me, but I'd turned it into triumph, proving some victories are sweeter when you write the ending yourself. The fallout came fast. David's board didn't just fire him. They sued for breach of fiduciary duty. The IRS opened a tax evasion case, thanks to my tip. His Barbados account, holding $150,000, was seized. Emily's LinkedIn went dark. Word was she was waitressing, her corporate dreams on hold. Sophie started her job at a Madison ad agency, thriving while I expanded my firm, taking on clients who'd heard of my Carter case takedown. A month post-graduation, my phone rang, an unknown number. Rachel, it's Tara, Emily's old roommate. I tensed. What do you want? To help, she said. Emily bragged about David's schemes, other execs, other firms. I've got texts, emails. He did this before. My pulse quickened. Why now? Emily threw me under the bus when HR called. I'm done protecting her. I met Tara that day, collecting her evidence. Proof David had blackmailed 2 execs at his old firm, pocketing $80,000. I sent it to Linda, who passed it to the FBI. This is federal now, she said. Wire fraud, extortion. He's done. David's texts started then, desperate. Rachel, we can fix this. Don't ruin me. I ignored them, but Linda advised one reply to bait him. Fix what? The affair or the crimes? He bit. I did it for us. Emily was a mistake. I typed, tell it to the FBI. They've got your emails. He went quiet. The FBI called a week later. Mrs. Carter, your evidence cracked a multi-state fraud ring. David's facing 12 years. I exhaled, justice settling. In. Sophie threw a party that weekend, friends toasting her degree and my victory. Mom, you're a legend, she said. I laughed. Just a mom who knows numbers. Mark pulled me aside. You saved the family's honor. Mom's proud. I nodded. thinking of the lake house, now cleansed of David's stain. 3 months later, I sat in my new office, my consultancy booming. Clients cited my David takedown as proof I could spot fraud a mile away. David's trial was set, but he'd already pled guilty, cutting a deal for 8 years. Emily took a plea too, 4 years for aiding fraud. Their empire of lies was dust. A letter from David arrived, begging for forgiveness. I burned it, unopened. Some doors stay shut. Tara visited, now running a startup. "Can you audit my books?" she asked. "I trust you." I smiled. First one's free. That night, Sophie called. "Mom, I'm pitching a campaign about resilience, inspired by you." I choked up. "Make it fierce, kid." As I looked out at Madison's lights, the ring on my finger, Mom's, passed to me, caught the glow. David thought he'd stolen my future, but he'd forged my strength. The hook he'd set, his grand escape, had caught him instead, leaving me free to build a life bigger than he'd ever dreamed.